President Donald Trump said Saturday that there will be very serious retaliation after 2 U.S. soldiers and one civilian interpreter were killed in an ambush in Syria on Saturday. 3 others were wounded in the attack, which was carried out by a single ISIS gunman, U.S. Central Command and the Department of Defense said in statements Saturday. "We will retaliate," Trump told reporters at the White House. He said the country is mourning the loss of the 3 great American patriots and praying for the 3 wounded, who seem to be doing pretty well. The president noted the U.S.'s cooperation with Syrian forces. Syria, by the way, was fighting along with us, Trump said, adding that Syria's new president is devastated by what happened. Iowa Gov. Kim Reynolds' office said in a statement late Saturday that the soldiers were members of the state's National Guard. The statement said the soldiers' names will be released at 5 p.m. Sunday. Reynolds' office said 3 additional Iowa National Guard members were wounded, 2 of whom were immediately evacuated to a medical facility. "Our hearts are heavy today, and our prayers and deepest condolences are with the families and loved ones of our soldiers killed in action," Reynolds said. "I ask that all Iowans stand united in supporting them and lifting them up in prayer during this incredibly difficult time." The statement said about 1,800 Iowa Army National Guard soldiers began deploying to the Middle East in late May to support Operation Inherent Resolve, the U.S. mission to defeat ISIS. The soldiers' mission was in support of ongoing counter-ISIS counter-terrorism operations in the region, wrote Sean Parnell, chief spokesperson for the Pentagon, in a statement on X. He added that the names of those killed were being withheld until next of kin are notified. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth said the attacker was killed by partner forces. "Let it be known, if you target Americans anywhere in the world, you will spend the rest of your brief, anxious life knowing the United States will hunt you, find you, and ruthlessly kill you," Hegseth wrote on X. Minutes after Trump spoke to reporters, he repeated his warning of retaliation in a social media post, calling the incident an ISIS attack against the U.S. and Syria in a very dangerous part of Syria that is not fully controlled by them, and saying Syrian President Ahmed al-Shara is extremely angry and disturbed by this attack. "There will be very serious retaliation," Trump wrote. ISIS has not publicly claimed responsibility for the attack. Syrian Foreign Minister Assad al-Shaibani condemned the attack on Saturday. "We extend our condolences to the victims' families and to the U.S. government and people, and we wish the wounded a speedy recovery," al-Shaibani wrote on X. In November, al-Shara became the first Syrian head of state to visit the White House as Damascus seeks closer ties with the U.S. after the fall of the Assad dictatorship last year. "He's a very strong leader," Trump told reporters at the time, calling al-Shara a tough guy from a tough place. The visit came after the U.S. partially lifted sanctions on Syria earlier this year, marking a major shift in relations between the 2 countries. The deadly attack comes a month after Syria joined the U.S.-led coalition, which was formed in 2014. The coalition has conducted military operations against ISIS in Syria and Iraq with the participation of multiple countries. U.S. troops have operated for years across multiple locations in Syria, including at the Al-Tanf garrison in Homs province, where they trained Syrian partner forces as part of the wider fight against ISIS. American personnel have previously come under attack, and Saturday's incident is the deadliest since a blast in the northern town of Manjib that struck a patrol, killing 2 U.S. service members and 2 U.S. civilians. A Syrian internal ministry spokesperson said Syrian forces had issued intelligence warnings to the U.S.-led forces and that the assailant was known to authorities ahead of the deadly attack. Noor ad-Din al-Baba told Syrian state television that leadership in the country's internal security forces in the Badia region had alerted the U.S.-led international coalition against ISIS in Syria about preliminary information indicating a possible breach or expected ISIS attacks. However, coalition forces did not take the Syrian warnings into account. He said the attack happened as leaders from the coalition and Syria's internal security forces carried out a joint tour earlier Saturday in the Badia region. The delegation later entered a fortified command facility belonging to Syria's internal security forces leadership, where the assailant opened fire at the gate. The attacker exchanged fire with Syrian and coalition guards before being neutralized, al-Baba said.